On April the 21st, '08, approximately about 5:30 a.m. in the morning, units get a call for a woman screaming at 247 West 31st Street. Upon their arrival, they was directed to the second floor, and they walked up to the second floor and they attempted to open the door, and the door was already unsecured, so they had no problem getting in. And when they entered the dwelling, they found Mrs. Schmidt laying on the floor. Where at that time we didn't know how many stab wounds, but there was multiple stab wounds at the time. She was deceased. The neighbors said they heard heard somebody screaming. That's why they called 911.
Now, was she living in a row house, an apartment, a single home?
Appears to be a row house.
So theoretically, they were neighbors.
They were neighbors, right? They had neighbors close by that heard the screams. Which time when they called 911.
What happens after you pronounce her dead at the scene? What's the following step?
Well, the following step is called. Well, when patrol officers get there and they find her, they call homicide right away. Homicide get there. Well, patrol officers will call homicide. They'll call crime lab to the scene to process the scene. Homicide to once homicides arrive at the scene, they're the ones who takes over the investigation. The officer writes the original report, but all the investigation is done by the homicide unit.
What happens to her? Was she taken to a hospital?
Well, she stays. Yes, she was taken to the Union Memorial where she was pronounced. Can we cut that?
Sure, you can say it again if you want.
I'm not sure.
Okay. No, she was.
Oh, she was?
That's what I was fishing for.
Okay, then. I'm sorry. Okay.
And her family was called?
Her sister, her daughter-in-law was notified of her being deceased.
It happened very early in the morning. Was robbery looked at as a motive?
Everything. They covered all the bases on that: robbery, murder, burglary. But they like I said, they hit a dead end again. No evidence there. All the evidence that was taken from it was submitted to a crime lab for processing.
Were there things taken from the apartment?
Well, the phone cord was cut, so we couldn't determine whether what was taken or not.
So if the phone cord was cut and somebody came in, I'm assuming while they thought she was maybe sleeping or just getting up, does it look like the person possibly intended to go in there, maybe cut the cord, and then went and confronted her?
Yes, that's what more the scenario seems like.
What I mean, if they weren't to take anything and you're kind of investigating at that angle, multiple stab wounds.
It was an overkill, right? It was an overkill. They wanted to make sure this lady was, deceased. Usually if it's overkill, you may know the person, or you may just be in a fit of rage and just keep on stabbing someone. We start over.
Yeah, if you could describe that.
It appears to be an overkill. Usually when we have an overkill, usually maybe we get the angle where the person might know the person that broke into her house and stabbed her. Usually, and she had defensive wounds too, so obviously she was awake at the time trying to defend herself.
Was she found in her bedroom?
She found her in her bedroom on the floor.
So it looked like she had probably been sleeping, maybe heard somebody coming in.
Right, and got up, and time she got up from the bed, that's when she probably was confronted by the suspect. The motive probably was burglary or robbery, probably.
Okay.
She may have knew she lived alone.
Well, if the motive was burglary or robbery, that is what it is. But to me, if you're going to rob someone, I would think that most robbers would kill someone only if they were caught, or and if it seems like she was in her bedroom.
Well, she probably heard someone come in and got up, and apparently, like I said, overkill, she probably knew the person. So the person actually wanted to make sure she was dead. But for a burglary, that's a lot of overkill. It's a lot of stab wounds. So that was the angle they were looking at. But like I said, they came to a dead end. Everything was submitted for the DNA result, but nothing was positive.
The community was very involved.
Oh, the community was very helpful. and they're still helpful. I mean, they actually still have a reward out for the suspects, or, unknown suspects or suspect, and they're the ones who I've been keeping contact with. So, and they still have the Metro Crime Stopper reward out for anybody who come up with any information.
For the community, was this an area that had seen a lot of crime like this, or was it an area where this was very rare?
No, this was a little rare up in that area. There's a pretty good area up there, and that's what we always want: people, the neighbors, to get involved, and the neighborhood has been involved in helping us out on this.
How have they been involved? What kinds of things have they been doing?
Putting out money taking a collection up, putting the money for the Metro Crime Stopper. You keep in contact with cold case. They only can do so much, and we can only do so much.
And they've been having vigils and stuff like
Vigils, and yes.
What do you think that there is somebody out there who knows?
Oh, I'm sure there is somebody out there who knows. Like I said, there'll be somebody talking about it, bragging about it, and it could trigger somebody's memory. Say, "Oh, I thought I heard someone speak about that crime." So, any help, they may call homicide here, cold case unit, or Metro Crime Stoppers.
What is your hope? Do you hope that they do call?
Oh yeah, well, I said I'd like to bring the conclusion for the family. That's the main thing of our objective.